What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the FCS Dynasty here on NCAA 06, featuring that next mod as well, as we are now narrowing this down from 16 teams that are remaining here in the FCS playoffs. We are going to get it down to 8. So here we go, man. Second round action here. We got 8 games on tap. Should be some fun 8 games of action, and if you're excited for it as well, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel, as we will jump into the first game that we have in stock for us here on this episode. We will have the 16 seeded SMU Mustangs taking on the number 1 seeded San Diego State Aztecs, and early on it seemed as if SMU, they were going to put up a little bit of an upset bid. They do get a touchdown right up the right-hand side. They will take a 7-0 lead. But here's the thing with San Diego State. They have one of the top offenses in the country, averaging almost 500 yards of offense a game, and that looks like it is going to be no different. San Diego State, they are also going to score on their opening touchdown here in this game, and we might have ourselves a shootout. That's going to be the only way that I see SMU personally going forth and winning this football game, but you never know what could happen any given Saturday. But to SMU's credit, man, they're making things happen here early in this game. They're up 14-7, but then we jump into that second quarter. McCarty, he's got some time in the pocket, he's going to throw it over the left-hand side, but he throws it into double coverage. It's going to be intercepted here by Maurice Carter. Hey, Mr. Carter, tell me, where have you been? Because you have certainly not been hiding, as McCarty simply did not see the safety, and he will pay for it. So now San Diego State, they are on the move to try and tie this football game up. Vaughn, he's going to look over the middle, and he is going to get intercepted as well. And that's going to be taken to about midfield. And that's a first down for the for the SMU Mustangs. Both quarterbacks, clean pockets, but just not so clean decisions, right? So SMU, they got a chance to maybe pull away a little bit early, build some confidence. They're trying to pull this 16-1 upset, but then there's another interception. Back to back to back turnovers. You want to call it a Drake song, because we got a repeat on our hands, as now San Diego State, they still find themselves down, but we'll go ahead and jump into the second half. It's 14-10, and now we start seeing these Aztecs here in the second half starting to enforce their will at least a little bit better. We will see Ryan Vaughn throw a 74-yard touchdown pass right down the middle of the field. Nobody in the secondary good enough to catch this guy from the back end. And now we see the Aztecs with their first lead of the game. SMU desperately looking for a response. McCarty, he looks to the left-hand side, and it's going to be intercepted by the linebacker, and that's going to be taken right inside the heart of SMU territory. Jared Neal gets his paws on the football, and it's danger zone territory for the SMU Mustangs, as they are on their back feet. They are not on the toes. They are on their heels at the moment. Vaughn looking to seize momentum. He's going to drop back. He's going to look over to the end zone, and it's going to be intercepted. SMU is still in this game somehow. Oh my goodness. Ryan Vaughn is going to throw his second interception of the game. Almost said this season. That's definitely not true. But just not becoming of a Heisman Trophy candidate, or at least the Heisman Trophy candidate that was invited to that trophy ceremony at the end of the conference championship episode. But his Aztecs still got ahead in spite of his performance right now. They do have a 10-point lead going into the final quarter of action. McCarty, he's under shotgun. He's going to want to go for the end zone as well, and he is going to get it. SMU is going to turn this into just a field goal game. You cannot make this up. We got ourselves a game. Vaughn looking to respond and does so in kind. They even go ahead and attempt a 2-point conversion after we receive confirmation that touchdown is indeed good. No penalties, nothing like that. And they actually are successful with that 2-point conversion. So SMU down by 14. They're going to need a couple of touchdowns if they want to get this to overtime. This will not help, however. A fumble by Brandon McCall, and he's going to give the ball back to the Aztecs. A chance for them to extend the lead. They do that. It's now 38-21. That is going to be your score, and SMU, they just simply run out of gas, and they lose that turnover battle in a pretty major way. They give up the rock 5 times in this game. That's 5 extra possessions that San Diego State was able to take advantage of, and they will not be bounced early in the second round like we saw at this time back in season number 2, as they will handle their business, improving their record. They are now 12-0. They are still undefeated. They win this game by a final score of 38-21, and they will move on to the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs, and they will play the winner of this next game that will feature the 8 and 9 seed here in this FCS tournament here at NCAA 06. So we jump into that 9-8 matchup as we got New Hampshire, the former #1 team in all of college football, trying to go to a deep playoff run the old-fashioned way. Starting from the first round, they could take on a Utah State team that is, coming off of the bye week. They're able to get a little bit extra rested as they will officially start their FCS playoff journey. Teams on paper do look evenly matched, so should be a very close game. It should be a very competitive game, so I'm certainly excited about this FCS playoff game. In particular, as we'll see, Steven Slater take on Carlos Montoya, and Slater's going to get first serve, and he's going to lift badly. Ken Trina, he is going to get the interception, and that's big because it was a very low-scoring game here early. Not a lot of action happening so far. New Hampshire, they simply had a rough time getting the ball moving downfield, but they get a little bit of extra help from their defense. Tyler Boyd, he was the one who had the interception earlier. He gets a second interception, and this time he takes it all the way to the crib. So that offense going to take a day off. All good. Defensively, we're going to make some things happen. And now we go into the second half. New Hampshire, they have a 7-3 lead, but Carlos Montoya, he tries to run the quarterback draw, and it's been, New Hampshire, they have not really moved the ball like we expected them to at this point in the season, but they still have the lead in spite of that. However, it looks like Utah State in premium position right now to retake the lead. We'll see what Slater does here. 3rd and long from the 22-yard line. He lines up under center, dropping back. He's got a little bit of time to work with. Looks towards the middle of the field and breaks the cover 2 defense. Touchdown, Utah State. And the Aggies, they are going to take the lead. They're going to be up 10-7 right now. And now Carlos Montoya, he's going to be feeling a little bit of the heat, and he's certainly shrinking in the spot right now as Jonathan Carpenter is going to pick off Carlos Montoya. So, first possession of the second half, we do see Carlos Montoya fumble the football. And now we're going to go ahead and see him get picked off as well. Not a diversity of plays that you want to see. So now the New Hampshire defense going to have to step up so that they can keep this a 1-score game. I just burped, and that's really sexy. Stephen Hall is going to make the catch over the middle of the field. Able to get that in there before the safety can come down. And it's a goal line situation now. A chance to make this a 2-score game. And Slater is going to find Romero Roberts in the end zone. Touchdown, Utah State. Make that 17-7. That is going to be your score. And now we hop into that fourth quarter of action, and we got some trouble. Montano trying to lead his team down the field. He's going to get a huge play. That will be a massive first down, and that was a play that the Wildcats, they desperately needed in order to try to take the lead. Later on in the fourth quarter, though, Montana looks over to the right-hand side, throws a dot, and he's going to find the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats. Carlos Montoya is going to get his first touchdown here of this football game. And now it turns into just a 3-point difference. We're looking around. We might see some big plays downfield as we're seeing New Hampshire trying to pull a comeback. Can they rally up? It could go either direction right now. Later on, 4th and 10. They need this badly. Montano's going to throw it up, and it's going to be intercepted. It's going to be a glorified arm punt that gets taken back to essentially the original line of scrimmage. And with 3:11 left to play in this ball game, we could see the dagger unfold right before our eyes. Depending on what Utah State does with the ball, they do go down and kick a field goal, but with 1:46 left, is that too much time for Montoya? So here we go. 1st and 10 from the 23. Carlos, he's going to look down the right-hand side. He's had success with a deep ball, and he's going to keep having it happen. Huge play for the Wildcats, and that is exactly a play that you want here in the final 2 minutes of this ball game. And his receiver just runs right by that defensive back. And now in striking distance, a chance to take the lead. Montoya to the end zone. It gets dropped. The defender had a chance to end this game and send Utah State to the quarterfinals. But instead, one last gasp of air for the New Hampshire Wildcats, just because of that interception not being made. At the 2-yard line, Montoya, he's going to run the option, gets it out to Zach Howe, and Howe is going to find the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats. 21-20 is your score. And now it's Steven Slater's turn to try to manufacture a game-winning drive. Is this going to be the one? No! Tyler Boyd is going to get his 3rd interception caught in the game. You want to talk about a big-time performance here in the FCS playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly got ourselves one right here as New Hampshire. They are going to hang on. They are going to win this football game by a final score of 21-20. A very competitive game, which means we're going to see a great quarterback battle guaranteed in the quarterfinals. Carlos Montoya versus Ryan Vaughn. That is something that I'm really excited about. That's going to be a great quarterfinal matchup. And we still got 6 more second-round games to play. So maybe this is a precursor of what's going to happen later in the episode. And speaking of later on in the episode, we move on to our next second-round matchup. We got the Akron Zips representing for the MAC Conference taking on the North Dakota State Bison, the champions of the Pac-10 Conference, and they are favored as the number 4 overall seed in the FCS playoffs as both teams are getting ready to go ahead and take the field. Akron, it's going to be really an intriguing game for them, and the reason that I'm saying that it's going to be really intriguing, they have not faced a team that is so predicated on that running game like they have with North Dakota State before. This is going to be a different animal. We'll see if the Akron Zips are ready for it, and early on, it seems like the Bison, they might get the best of them here, as he is going to go ahead and run it into the end zone. Touchdown, Bison. That is going to make it 7-0. A really great start for North Dakota State. Later on in the game, though, we got one of the better quarterbacks in the FCS, Terrence Williams. He's going to line things up under center. He will drop back the pass. He's going to look to that left-hand side and finds his superstar wide receiver, Mark Subar, with a 30-yard reception. Here comes Akron and an opportunity to tie this game. Later on in the red zone, they're going to try to fake the option, and they go back to Mark Subar. How about that play design? You want to talk about being bamboozled, overwhelmed? You could use whatever adjective you want, but either way, we got ourselves a tie football game. But on the ensuing kickoff, one of North Dakota State's superstars, Mike Sapp, he is going to sap the wheel out of the Akron Zips down the sideline, and he is going to be gone. And mama, there goes that man. Touchdown, Bison. Make it 14-7 now, being your score. Akron trying to keep up here. They need to play their own style of football as of right now. Terrence Jones is going to take a sack in the backfield. Not a spot where you want to be in right now. You want to talk about one of the last things you want to do is be in a 3rd and long against one of the best defenses in the entire country. And that's what we got right now. We'll see what Terrence Jones can do. Looks like he will have max protection. 7 people blocking for him. He's going to fire one over the middle of the field and finds the tight end. First down for Akron. And that will keep the drive alive. Does it lead to points though? They have another 3rd down that they need to convert. They've been perfect so far. Jones looking for the back of the end zone. It finds Marcus Subar. Touchdown, Akron. Already his 2nd receiving touchdown of the day. He is absolutely on fire. And a great day to have yourself a great day with the pressure mounting of the FCS playoffs. So now we jump into the 2nd quarter of action here. We see that option attack that we're talking about. The fullback is going to get a little bit of love. If he had a little bit higher of a speeding rating, he was going to take that thing all the way to the house. Still a really great gain by the fullback. I mean, nobody on the Akron defense was expecting that. They were also bamboozled as well. So great field position as they are able to drive it down the field themselves. They're going to go back to that option. It's been working well for him. And Ken Anderson is going to punch it in. Touchdown, Bison. We got another score on the board. And not only that, we got ourselves a potential shootout on our hands. So like I said, get that popcorn out. But before we get into the end of the first half though, we will see a rare pass from AJ Ferguson. They do not pass the football very often, but when they do, they're kind of effective with it. AJ Ferguson definitely fits their system a little bit better. As Ferguson, he's going to throw over the middle of the field himself, trying to get a little bit too cute here in the 2nd half. That might have been LaRon Montez that they were trying to seek out, but it doesn't work that way. It did not happen for them there. So Akron's going to get the interception. It was something that they really desperately needed in order to get back in this game, and they're going to get it. That might help them out a little bit. They have been dominated here in this 2nd quarter, but we jump into the 4th quarter. Not much happening other than that. Akron still down 31-14. However, Terrence Jones going to try to make something happen, looking for his superstar Marcus Subar, but instead Kyle Stiff is going to get his 1st interception of the entire season. It was an overthrow, and to be fair to that safety, that was an incredible play. It sets up another touchdown for the North Dakota State Bison though. It's going to make it a 38-14 game. That will now officially be your score. The Bison surprisingly running away with this game. They heard the talk about what they did year 1, year 2 in the FCS playoffs, playing actual competition that the naysayers would throw out there in the comments section, in the Discord. And now North Dakota State, they are trying to shed those labels. Akron, a really good football team. They are getting it handed to them right now. I know what I want to say, but you know, your boy going to get demonetized on YouTube if I said it out loud. But you're certainly not going to mind a pick 6 taken all the way back to the crib. Is going to go into the end zone. Touchdown, Bison. North Dakota State, they're just running away with this game right now. It's incredible to watch, to be honest with you guys. And we will see the Bison after that interception return by Zachariah O'Brien, one of your guys' custom players, by the way. The Bison are going to win 45-21. That does end up being the final score, and that will mean that North Dakota State will move on to the quarterfinals. But now we'll go ahead and find out who will North Dakota State take on in the quarterfinals. We now move on to the 12-5 matchup between the Southeast Missouri State Redhawks from the Big Ten Conference and the two-time defending national champions, the Kent State Golden Flashes. And two teams that are both feeling good about themselves. Kent State, obviously, they've been there before. They have made these deep playoff runs. They know how to handle their business once it gets into playoff season. But Southeast Missouri State, they're coming off a huge win against UNLV back in the first round, and they're coming with a ton of confidence, also carrying one of the best defenses in the entire nation. But can their offense help put them in a position to win this game? Early on, Golden Flashes, they got a 3-0 lead as Tyler Johnson will attempt to drop back the pass and throws it over the left-hand side. It's going to be caught, and it's going to be a touchdown. The Redhawks are going to take the lead against the defending national champions. Just a dream scenario in regards to that first drive for the Southeast Missouri State offense. But can they maintain that over the entire game? Johnson will try to throw once again. He is going to take a massive sack. That's Randy Elliott, but comes screaming off the edge. It's just his 4th sack of the season. He's been a nice contributor for this Golden Flashes defense, as it does put them in a 3rd and long situation. They have struggled on 3rd downs, just converting 37% of these throughout the whole year, as Johnson drops back. He's going to look over the middle of the field, and it's going to be intercepted. He's going to be picked off, and that's the last thing you want to do against the defending national champions. You do not want to give the Golden Flashes extra opportunities. And now that defense, while is a really fantastic defense, I love the personnel that they have. They're going to be in a pretty compromised spot as Terrence Williams, he looks like a certified vet, as he is going to carve up the secondary for a big gain downfield. That was Kelly Russell on the coverage. And now Tyro Williams got his guys in a goal line situation. Hands it off to the tailback. Tries to bring him down in the backfield, but just keeps those feet moving. And Kent State, they will capitalize off of the interception thrown by true freshman Tyler Johnson. And Kent State, they got the lead right now. 10-3 is your score, but hang on now. We got a fumble on the field. It's going to be recovered. Hang on now. The Redhawks can get a turnover too. Like I said, one of the best defenses in the entire country. This defense is legit. And it's no surprise that they got a turnover here. Can they capitalize like Kent State did with theirs? Trying to get out to the flat. We do get a catch for the tailback, who's able to push the ball well past mid. Well, they already pushed midfield, but that looks like a red zone opportunity if I've seen one, and it sure is. 3rd and long from the 11-yard line so that they can take the lead. Johnson, he's going to roll to his right. He's going to throw to the opposite side. Throws it up, and a dangerous pass ends up being intercepted. Oh, no. You got to throw that football away, my God. I mean, what was Tyler Johnson looking at that? I don't know if he was trying to throw it away and just didn't get enough air on that football. I don't know what happened, but they had the tie. They're not going to get the tie, as once again we see Kelly Russell really struggle in coverage today. That's his 2nd really big play that he's allowed. It doesn't lead to anything though, so we still have a 3-point game. Tyler Johnson's going to make a catch though. A little bit of Philly special action. They need to teach the Cincinnati Bengals how to run one of those, I'll tell you what, because that was a really successful play. Gets them across midfield, but that drive is also going to stall out though, as the Golden Flashes, they were able to buckle up and lock things down. Second half coming through though, as we see Tyrell Johnson looking towards the end zone. He's going to make the catch, and it's going to be caught into the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Flashes. And they will indeed be able to extend this lead a notch. Now a 10-point game, and Tyler Johnson needs to respond. in the shotgun. He drops back. He's looking around, faces some intense pressure. He has to get rid of it, and he finds his receiver. That's Thomas Bryant, who slices and dices the defense. He's got a touchdown from earlier today. He's going to turn that into a massive game. I have no idea how Tyler Johnson got that off, but hey, you absolutely love to see it though. As now it puts the Red Hawks in field goal range, but they're thinking about more. Play action, Johnson, he wants the end zone. He's not going to get the end zone, no. It's incomplete. Again, double coverage here as he was trying to force that ball back to Thomas Bryant. Just wonky that it wasn't intercepted so that they can keep this drive going. As now Johnson will throw to the right-hand side, gets it out to the tight end, and the tight end is going to rumble. He is going to stumble his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Red Hawks. And right back in the game is Southeast Missouri State, giving them everything that the defending national champions they can handle. But can the Red Hawks get a key stop on defense, though? They need to make this a one-possession game. Just hold them to a field goal so that if you only get one more drive, you only get one more chance, you can give your guys a shot to win the game. Tyrell, he's got other ideas. Oh, hell, it's blocked. Oh, my. That might have been a game-saving deflection. He was open there in the back of the end zone. But how about those cat flag free flexes? Getting it out of the way. And now it's 2nd and goal from the 5. Williams doing another play action. Rolls to the left. He's going to get in the end zone. Touchdown. Golden Flashes. 24-14. And there is still a decent amount of football left to be played for Southeast Missouri State. It is not looking good. They're going to have to score, and they're going to have to score quickly. Johnson looks over the left-hand side. He's hit as he throws it. Gets it out to Lonnie Scott, who does get it past midfield, but he does not get out of bounds, however. So that means that they are going to have to run some hurry up. They got to get themselves on the ball, and they got to get it on the ball quickly. But they don't score fast enough here. They will get a garbage touchdown that really won't affect the score. So they tried their best to score as fast as possible. They won't have time for a second possession, but it's a tough look. It was a really competitive game. You really can't be mad at Southeast Missouri State. Their offense is probably just a year away, I would think, from, realistically being the caliber required to win a national championship. The defense is certainly there. We saw that throughout the season. There's never been a point. Kent State put the most points on them, and 27 is really not that high of a number that I would say, but give credit to Kent State. They hung tough. They took every punch that Southeast Missouri State provided, and then some. So they'll move on and play North Dakota State. So now we go and check out another mainly option team, I would say. We got the number 2 seeded Rice Owls playing against a representative from the WAC Conference. We got number 15 seeded New Mexico State, which is coming off a very competitive game that we saw against North Carolina A&T. They only won by 1 singular point. That was really about it. And now they're going to have to really bring their A game if they are going to take down the very team, by the way, that has the Heisman Trophy winner, Robert Johnson. 13 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's got more damage on the ground, but they won't show that here in the pregame. But then maybe we'll see some of that here as they're going to go option early. There's Robert Johnson faking the pitch, and oh my, he might be gone like a girl in a country song, and he is. Touchdown, Rice. Robert Johnson showing right off rip. First offensive play of the game. Why he is the Heisman Trophy winner. You do not mess with his name. He is a certified bad man. And we saw that right there. Rice taking the lead. But North Dakota State, they got a great quarterback as well, Joey Ward. But bad start here for the Aggies offense as Adam Colvin is going to get the interception. So really a nightmare scenario that we are watching right now unfold along this New Mexico State football team. Robert Johnson's got the ball. They desperately need to stop early, and could this game get out of hand in just the first minute of a half. Already 14-0 being your score, And through much of this game, it was a pretty dominant affair. 17-0 here. We check things out in the second quarter. They go with a goal line set. New Mexico State doing the same. And then Robert Johnson, that makes him so unique compared to most option quarterbacks. Ikeda Woods is capable of doing this too, by the way. Robert Johnson is a good passer. He is a very good passer when called upon. He's going to make good decisions, and wide butt naked open like that, he can easily hit that throw, no problem. It's 24-0 now. 24-0 now being your score. Joey Ward, I think at this point, is just really pressing himself too much. He's had a great year. 42 touchdown passes this man has, but also been a little bit turnover prone too. That's his 17th interception of the season. And it starts Rice right back in what you would call it, the red zone. They're back in the red zone again. Their 5th opportunity already, and they're gonna go 5 for 5. I mean, you can't complain about that. 5 for 5 is really good, especially in terms of making a burger. That's a little Five Guys reference. You can hate me if you want, but you're not gonna hate on Rice, man. Rice is having a great game. They're up 34-0, and we haven't even hit halftime yet. So we'll see if Joey Ward can finally get points on the board, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, at least here in the first half specifically, as Danny Gonzalez is able to get in there and really strike down Joey Ward as he was trying to climb the pocket a little bit. And it's a huge lead. One more score, we might see a little bit of some backups getting involved, and then maybe we get up out of here. But how about this for a unique way to score your first points of the second round? We got ourselves a big boy touchdown. Rice got a little bit cute there, maybe trying to, try some new plays, plays that they feel might be necessary to go forth and make sure that they actually go about, winning this national championship. That is the ultimate goal, of course. But New Mexico State, they're going to try to rally back here. We saw the big boy touchdown. We're also going to see a defensive touchdown here. That makes it a 20-point game. So, I mean, it's still a big deficit to overcome, but 20 points in a quarter and a half, it's certainly not possible, especially considering even Robert Johnson is going to put this football ground. I mean, what is actually going on here? I have no idea, but they're going to turn that into points. And then in the fourth quarter, Joey Ward, he's going to roll to his left. He's going to find the fullback, and he's going to score as well. So now we're looking at a 10-point game at the moment. I mean, it looks competitive, and the score doesn't look like it was as bad as it was, but I mean, Rice, they just cruised once they got that 34-0 lead. And even though that second half does carry some red flags, would like to see them take care of the football a little bit better. They definitely eased up on the gas pedal a little bit there. They're still going to move forward, and they're going to win this game. They're going to win this game, and they're going to move on to the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs, led by their Heisman quarterback, Robert Johnson. So who will have the pleasure of taking on Robert Johnson in the Rice Owls in the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs? We now move forward to the 10-7 matchup that we got on tap here. We got the number 10 seeded Idaho Vandals taking on the Temple Owls, who come in ranked number 7 in terms of overall seeding in the FCS playoffs, as both teams will come out onto the field. Temple, the only team that they played is the University of Central Florida. That was their best win. They're ranked number 25 in the final AP poll prior to the FCS playoffs. So do what you want with that particular information right there. Meanwhile, Idaho, they're coming off a 2-touchdown win against Delaware. So both teams, I guess, with some things to prove. They were favored in all of their endeavors for the most part. But Idaho's going to jump on Temple here early. It starts with the special teams. And when you get to the point where we are right now in the FCS season, a lot of these teams are pretty evenly matched. Talking about teams that, for the most part, this juncture of the season, C+, B- overall teams, which is, pretty high for an FCS squad. Maybe a few C's sprinkled in there, right? So really your execution really is what matters the most, and special teams can be a huge difference as well. We see some of that there, as we'll see another touchdown for the Idaho Vandals. They're trying to vandalize the Temple Owls. They're going to take a touchdown lead because of it. As now, we'll see Temple trying to respond on offense, trying to run a little bit of a curl pattern. But Dante Baker is going to get himself in between the receiver and the quarterback. He's going to get the interception. Doesn't take it all the way back to the crib. Obviously, the receiver was literally right behind him. But they're going to get a field goal off of it. It helps build this 10-point lead that Idaho has built themselves early on. But then we see special teams make an appearance again. This guy, he's already got 1 touchdown. He might mess around and make it 2 touchdowns. He'll get you on the corner of mess around and find out. Touchdown, Idaho. As the Vandals, they're pulling away here. They're showing that their win against Delaware, that is not a fluke by any stretch of the imagination. 17-point game. And now Idaho looks to put the furnace in him. Dropping back. He's going to look over the right-hand side. He's going to throw a missile in one-on-one coverage. And it's going to be caught. Touchdown, Idaho. Another one. 31-7 is your score. That's that weak strength of schedule that Temple has had the entire year is now really rearing its ugly head. Because they have not faced a team like Idaho. And it's definitely showing. I don't know if they have the resilience to even try to keep this close, to be honest. I mean, another interception that gets thrown over the middle of the field. You know, just got to do a better job of making better decisions than that. That's really what it boils down to. We'll see if Idaho can get some more points on the board as we got a 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. As we'll see quarterback drop back. It's going to get bent backwards a little bit. It's going to be fumbled, and Temple is going to get their hands on the ball. If only they did not fall on it, they tried to stumble upon it instead, do a little scoop and score action, because they could certainly use a little bit of that right now, as time has really become one of the essence. We know who's going to win this game. Idaho is certainly going to win this game, unless there is a miracle that their next 4 plays are 2 onside recoveries and then quick 1-play drives, but we obviously don't see that. Idaho, they do recover the initial onside kick. They can run out the rest of the clock with ease. And Idaho, they look good in this one. They put up 30 points once again, the 2nd time in a row in the FCS playoffs that they do that. And that will mean that they will take on the Heisman Trophy winner, Robert Johnson, and the number 2 seeded Rice Owls in the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs. Temple, thanks for playing, but you are one of 2 teams now that have been upset even though they got a bye. Now another team that will be looking to avoid getting upset is James Madison. They come in as the number 3 overall seed in the FCS tournament. They will take on a 19-seeded Eastern Carolina, who just finished their business against Eastern Kentucky. The Pirates, they thrashed them all over the field. Even though they were down initially in that game, Eastern Carolina, they just dominated. They played as if the outcome was never in doubt, but we'll see how they do against this James Madison receiving core. They got some star receivers. Joe Gentry, Jonathan Henderson, Brad Odrauzi is in there as well. There's a lot of choices for Stephen Rogers, but first we're going to see BJ Bowers get a carry. We don't see BJ get a lot of carries, as this is more of an air raid type of offense, but he makes the most of that particular carry, and we'll see if they go back to him here on a 1st and goal. And they do. They go back to the running game, they get it, and James Madison is going to hop on that scoreboard first. We got a touchdown for the Dukes of James Madison, and it's a 7-0 lead. But Richard Fisher trying to lead his troops back, but he's going to throw an interception himself. It's going to be brought back to the end zone. Touchdown, James Madison. It's another score. The Dukes, they are off to a scorching hot start right now at the moment. We'll see if they can continue that here, as Stephen Rogers will drop back the pass. He was looking for the true freshman Brad Odrauzi in this case, but he's going to be picked off. Just telegraphed his throw a little bit too much, and they start out on their own side of the field defensively. They still only manage a field goal out of it. So even with that interception, it looks like James Madison is still trying to roll here, and you got to give credit to Stephen Rogers. He certainly being extraordinarily aggressive. But with that being said, maybe you need to dial that down a little bit. I mean, this is a beautiful looking ball if you don't take into account the coverage. But Jody Gentry, he was well covered in this situation. And now Eastern Carolina is going to take over, looking to make this a one-score game, as Richard Fisher is going to hand this football off, gets it to the outside, and it gets it inside the 35-yard line. Brian Haston, he's going to be able to, make some guys miss, make runs away from a few defenders for the most part. And now sitting outside the red zone, looking to make this a one-score game. Third down, Fisher dropping back. He's going to have plenty of time. He's going to throw it to the right-hand side, and it's going to make the catch. First down, Pirates. And now looking for their first touchdown of this ball game and their first red zone opportunity too. 75% success rate on the season. They go to Haston on the halfback direct snap, and he fights his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Eastern Carolina. And it's just a 4-point gain. And we'll see if the tides are turning, or can James Madison seize it right back. We're going to go to the ensuing kickoff that will be seen. David Foran, we know he's a superstar. He's making superstar plays out here in the second round of the FCS playoffs as he gets the ball in his hands, and this is what he does. Every time he touches the ball, something special is always going to happen, and we saw something special happen right there. And that is going to really propel James Madison to start pulling away. As we'll jump into the second half, BJ Bowers gets a carry. They get the ball to start the second half, and they take it all the way downfield and get it into the end zone. Another touchdown for the Dukes. It's 28-13 all of a sudden. And they're looking dominant, looking to pull away again. But Stephen Rogers, he's going to get lit up like a Christmas tree. And for all the defensive problems that Eastern Carolina has had, they now got 4 sacks in this game and are going to force a third and long. They need 15 yards for the first down. Rogers looking for more than 15, and he's going to get more than 15 as Jody Gentry, he's going to be dancing and strutting his stuff all the way into the end zone. The sophomore custom right before we go into the third quarter of action. It's going to make it 35-13. That will be your score, and that is just a beautiful drop in the bucket. Now James Madison, late in this game, they do have a couple of injury issues. We will see, for example, Stephen Rogers, who you guys may know is the starting quarterback. He hurts his elbow, so they do keep him out for the rest of this game. They will have a backup for if they do try to actually pass the football on offense. I would imagine they'll try to keep it on the ground as we are getting towards the end of this game, as Richard Fisher, he's going to get a touchdown here. That makes it a 16-point game. I believe I did the mental math right. You can roast me in the live chat or in the comments if I'm wrong, but they are wrong to try to test this defender, as that is going to be an interception. And I think that fat lady that we are listening to in the background, I think she is singing as of right now. James Madison, they had a tough test against Eastern Carolina. Probably the one team that I expected outside of the top 8 to make a deep playoff run. And James Madison dispatches them, makes it look pretty easy, surprisingly. I love what James Madison was able to do in this game. They're going to win by a final score of 38-19. So, they literally double up Eastern Carolina. And now they will await to see who they play in the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs. Will it be the 11th seed or the 6th seed that they will have to deal with next episode? And so, speaking of that 11-6 matchup, let's go ahead and introduce the teams. Eastern Illinois, who's coming off a blowout victory against the Yellow Bulldogs in the first round of action. Meanwhile, Georgia Southern, they're looking pretty good themselves. They got that first round bye, but the last time that they played, Georgia Southern, they throttled Sam Houston State in the SEC championship game. We'll see if Georgia State can keep that going in spite of the long bye. that they had in anticipation of the FCS playoffs. Now, we know one player that will show up no matter what, Dakota Woods. He is one of the runners-up for the Heisman Trophy. He was a finalist, did not win it, although I personally thought he should. I thought he had better stats than the Rice quarterback, Robert Johnson. So we'll see if he plays with a little bit of anger here as Dakota Woods, he's going to dive into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Southern, as Dakota Woods showing that maximum effort. He is not going to play around with the Eastern Illinois Panthers. Plus, with that, he's also going to get a good pass in. Brian Williams, no, Albert Miniacci, he's going to make the catch out of the backfield. He is going to get a touchdown. How about Dakota Woods, man, to start this game? Passing touchdown in the second quarter. We also get ourselves a rushing touchdown in the first quarter, but we're pretty used to that. But now we'll see if Eastern Illinois can keep up. They did get a couple of field goals in this game, but you know, they haven't been able to punch it in the end zone. And now, I think Eastern Illinois, they might be punching a little bit above their weight. You know, it's been close for a quarter and a half, but if Georgia Southern's going to run away with this game, I would imagine this would be the moment right here. But we still don't see that. It's still only 17-6. That is your score as of right now. Eastern Illinois, a tad bit better than New Mexico State, but, you know, who's comparing those two guys, right? As for Dakota Woods, though, the 5'6" stallion down the sideline, and he is going to get his second rushing touchdown of the ball game. Dakota Woods makes it a 80-yard touchdown. 24-6 going to be your score. Just a beautiful job selling the option. I thought he was going to be dropped for a loss. But sometimes, you know, the great players, they just make those great plays, and they do it for a reason. This guy is legit. As now, 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line as Georgia Southern looks to push it in again. They go with the reverse. Albert Miniacci, he's got space on the outside and is going to find the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. It's now turning into a runaway affair. 31-6 going to be your score as they had everybody going to the right, and then Albert Miniacci, when he reversed it, there wasn't nobody there to catch him. You love to see the execution. As we'll jump into the fourth quarter of action now. We're going to make this a 30-plus point game. They will do that. And so Georgia Southern, they make it look easy, man. They really show the option as a work of art. Let's be honest here. And the Eagles are going to win this game. 45-6 is going to be your final score in this one. Great win for Georgia Southern. They will move on to the quarterfinals, and we'll have a great game between James Madison and Georgia Southern that we'll definitely be checking out there in the next episode. So in just a matter of a couple of episodes, we went from 24 teams that are competing for the national championship all the way down to 8. And we are starting to get into the contenders that have a serious shot of winning the national championship here in year number 3 of the FCS Dynasty. In next episode, that list gets narrowed down further as we will go ahead and check out the quarterfinal games of the FCS playoffs here in the FCS Dynasty that will be in the next episode. All 4 of the quarterfinal games will be shown, and it's going to be a fun one, man. But in the meantime, if you've been enjoying the FCS playoff action so far here on NCAA 2006, I need you guys to do me a massive favor, man. Smack that like button, as that does really help me out with the YouTube algorithm. If you're brand new to the channel and you love the content that you're seeing here on this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It would truly appreciate that a lot from the bottom of my heart. But with that being said, this is John J. Gaming on the mic signing off. I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.